All right, week one, we talked about mindset, targets, and building a list. Who is actively building a list? Maybe put a number one in the comments. Put your hand up if you want. That's awesome. That is good. That is good. Building and working a list is so important. Okay, good job. You are now. That is so good. Okay, everybody is. Mission accomplished. That is awesome. Okay, week two, we talked last week in a very, relatively short lesson on why building frontline was so important. And as we're going through the actions and we're trying to get our meetings booked and we're inviting guests onto our Tuesday night calls, we want to really understand, well, this is my goal. My goal is to add new frontline team. And I understand now that the new frontline team benefits me in this way. So what's really cool is that you can go back and rewatch that video a couple of times, take some notes. These are also all of the things that we have talked about in the first and second week. It are things that you can share when you grow your team and as you're leading your team. And you can even share in conversations with people who are interested in potentially joining the business. You can talk about these things as reasons or support that you can offer. So please make sure that you're taking good notes on the weekly calls. So who is having luck booking meetings? If you're put a number one, if you're actually getting meetings on your calendar. I have been really focused on this and I'm doing good. I had 3 meetings today. So that was a good day. But getting those meetings to talk to people about the products and about the business, who's having luck, put number one. If you're not having any luck, but you're doing the work, put a number 2. Because today we want to talk about what we can do to improve the results that we're getting. Having difficulty, but definitely doing the work. That's awesome. That's okay. All right, number 2, keep going. Number 1, number 2. Okay, you guys are good. So here's the thing. There's a couple things that are important to understand when it comes to inviting people to, learn more about the products or to learn about the business and actually getting the meeting. Our job, and I want you to think about this, we're going to talk about it today. Our job is in the slides, is to create enough curiosity that they're willing to give us a little bit of their time to have a conversation. Oftentimes, when we are prospecting, because we have such great information to share, we often share too much of it up front. We're not doing enough, we're not creating enough curiosity. And we don't want people to feel misled by any means. But, for example, one of my calls today was a lady who had sent me a message and she asked about the shakes. And I said, hey, can we get on a call? That's a meeting, right? Let me answer your questions. The first thing I asked her was, well, why are you interested in a shake for your family? Is this for personal use? Is this for your whole family? I wanted to understand. And she's like, well, my son's 16. He's in the bodybuilding. I don't want him to use whey-based protein, right? So by understanding that, well, lo and behold, by the end of the conversation, she wants all of the products and she might as well get a discount. And she has the partner link and orders in, right? That never would have happened through Messenger. That conversation, that level of sharing never would have happened in text. So when you're booking or when people are reaching out, try to build, get that connection, that can I give you a quick call? It'll only take 15 minutes. Is there a time that works for you? Can I connect you? If you're relatively new, you can say, hey, can I connect you with one of the leaders? I'm learning here, just in case you ask questions that I can't answer. If we're in an open message, then they can jump in and answer the questions and we're both going to learn, right? You don't have to have all the answers to get these connections, but the goal is to actually get a meeting in place. Excellent. Good job, Robin. The other thing that happens in network marketing is it feels like we are doing so much work. And in a lot of cases, you absolutely are. You're sending your messages, you're doing your likes and your comments, you're trying to book meetings, and it just feels like you're just getting crickets. All right. We all go through this. I still have periods of my business where I set a target for personal new customer growth for my own personal customer base. And every day I'm working it. And then it feels like the month is over And I'm like, I don't got a lot to show about it, right? Cricket phase. Okay, cricket phase is normal. So I don't know if the cricket phase is a test, but let me tell you what happens. And Heather's post was so perfect for tonight because she shared how she had been sharing, and then all of a sudden it comes in. When you really focus on building your business, it comes in tidal waves. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. You do a lot of work and then it all comes in. And it's so funny because oftentimes when I work with leaders, they'll talk about, oh, I don't have enough business. They get really committed to getting their business going. They're doing tons of work. And then the next conversation I have with them is, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with all this. It happens. The goal is to really stay committed. You got to stay the course. You got to prove that you really want the results. And if something's not working, it's not about jumping to the next best thing. It's about thinking about how can I improve this? And we talked about that in last week's class with the book Lead the Field, and how Earl Nightingale suggested that, you know, people spend time every day thinking about how they can improve what they're doing. And that's really where it is. Same thing as having faith and sharing. 100%, absolutely. We are in the taking care of people business. We don't get to decide the timing. We just get to create the relationship and give the information and just nurture and look after them. And we're going to talk about that today. All right. So did I go through everything? So anybody having any roadblocks before we get into the lesson today? This is kind of a big lesson, so you're going to be taking rapid notes, but is there anybody who's got a roadblock? You can type it in. Feel free to unmute yourself that you just love to like just totally solve this week. Any challenges that are coming up that you're like, I gotta get through this. Anyone feeling anything? I might have been trying to get the meetings. The meetings is hard. Getting people on Tuesday nights is hard, by the way. It takes work. It gets easier in the fall. Summer's definitely a more difficult time, but let me tell you a little secret. I work really hard the end of August. Every single, actually, I'm going to talk about yours, Crystal, without disclosing what you shared, but yes, we're maybe opening that. I work really, really hard at the end of August, my friends. And I don't see often the results that reflect my effort in August, but you know when they show up? September. The way our business works is really the work you do this month is pretty much going to show up in one form or another next month. And the work you do next month will show up in one form or another the following month. So at the end of summer, I work really hard because I don't want to take the entire month of September to restart my business. I want to get my business going, moving forward now so that the moment September hits, everyone thinks of me, everyone's getting back to me, everyone's interested. Right now, I'm planting seeds, right? And there's a really great Bible story. Rob and I, we'll see if we can find it for network marketing, just about, spreading seeds, and some get taken by the birds and some grow in poor soil and some, grow amongst the weeds. And that's what prospecting is. But once a couple take, you can grow an enormous field of success, right? It only takes a couple, but we have to plant a lot of seeds. So the work you're doing now and trying to get the meetings and getting those meetings and having those, that is planting seeds. You're going to start growing next month, and then you have a season of harvesting, and then you have a season of planting, and then you have a season of taking care of the seedlings and the plants, like tower gardening, my friends, right? You take good care of those plants, and then you have a season of harvesting. And that's what our business is. The challenge for us is that we want every day to be harvest, and it just doesn't work that way. You got to plant the seeds, you got to nurture the plants, you got to take good care of them. Some are going to work out, some are not. But the ones that do are going to create a massive harvest, and then you're going to go do it all over again, right? Okay, so a couple of things here is, so Crystal just shared, she's doing the work. She's working hard, my friends. Like, she is just working. And she's like, I'm just not getting anywhere. And I'm like, sometimes too, we got to be careful what we're saying to ourselves. So whatever comes out your mouth is probably happening in your mind. So really pay attention this week to what you're telling yourself. Like, if you're like, people aren't interested, costs too much. We talked about this in Money Mindset. And in our previous course is, sit down and go, oh, that thought, my brain's going to look for evidence of your thought. So if you're convincing yourself that it's too expensive, your brain's going to start looking for evidence, and you're going to start having conversations with people that think it's too expensive. Right? It's like, remember we talked about a money mindset. You buy a new white car, you haven't seen that car ever before, but now that you've bought it, your brain goes, that car is important. And now you see that car, your same cars you drive everywhere, right? Our brain does that. So if we're focusing, or if we're maybe we've been beat up by another company, or we came in, we've had some people that are ghosting us, they're not giving us, maybe we've had some critical people that showed up, and now our self-talk is showing up. Our brain is going to keep looking for evidence of that. So just be really mindful of that internal dialogue. And the easiest way is just create a new statement. Be like, I'm buying that story. I'm going to buy a different story. All right, we talked about we're getting people ghost me. Okay, so Robin, you're still doing the work though, and they still have information. I want you guys to think about how many times you got a message from someone and you were driving or on the road and you opened it and you're like, that's not that important, or I'll get back later. Oh, that's really good information. It's not important to me right now, right? We have to not be attached to our expectations. What I often say is get attached to the activity, not the outcome. Because the activity is going to pay you, the outcome will just happen, right? And sometimes you'll send a message to someone that in 3 months will message you back and go, you know what, I'm ready now. But if you hadn't sent that message, then it wouldn't have happened. So be really, really careful of your thoughts, and then don't get attached. Don't get attached, because we're going to talk about that tonight. It's a perfect 90% of the way there, and then silence. Yeah. And you know what? Think of time of year too, guys. Like, these are people, put them on your list for September, or send them something. Here's my trick. When I have somebody that I'm engaging with and then they kind of like drop off, I try to send them something. Hey, you know what? I know we talked about this. Here's a recording to a call on that topic. Hey, I know we talked about gut health when we were chatting here. I know, the conversation kind of dropped, but I actually just remembered this video and I wanted to send it to you. You just send them the link to the video from 500 Families. Or I'll be like, hey, I know we were talking about nutrition for your kids. I know now is probably not the right time, but we have this really cool guide. I just wanted to send it to you. I want you to think about when somebody brings you Tim Hortons for our Canadian folks, and for our American friends, that would be the Starbucks, right? Someone shows up at the office and they bring you a coffee and you just like them a little bit more, because small acts of service build trust. And sometimes before somebody is going to feel confident enough joining us or making that decision, we still have to build trust. So send them a guide, send them a recipe, send them a video that matches a conversation or something they were talking about. Gift them something, find something to send to them. So as you go through your prospect list tonight and tomorrow, you're probably going to see a bunch of conversations that you could maybe grab a small gift, a download, something, a link, something, and be like, hey, I saw this, I was thinking of you. Just wanted to put it out. I just want to give that to you. That works like a charm for me. Starting to get some feedback on social media, so tonight will be helpful. I love it. I want to engage first, like you said, instead of going straight to it. Absolutely. Give them a back rub. Rub their back a little bit first, okay? They don't need to show up and you're naked. Like, give them a little bit of a, come on. All right, just approaching people to book meeting feels unnatural to me. Do you approach them or wait until they contact you to ask for a call? So it kind of depends, Jody, on each person. So if someone's posting that their kids are always sick, I might send them an inbox, and it'd be a voice note usually, because I find a short voice note, 30 seconds or less. Nobody wants to listen to 5 minutes if they don't really know me. Is, hey, I just saw your post about your kids getting sick. Actually, one of the things I do is I work with a company that helps kids and actually supplements them for free. If you'd be interested in some information, we can book a call. It's done, right? If it's somebody that, I'm liking or commenting, it might be a quick message to kind of get the conversation going around what we're already talking about. But the goal, the objective, is to take the conversation to a meeting, right? We're going to talk about invitations tonight, so this will probably help. So many conversations going and people were ready to get their order and not doing it. Okay, so hang on to them. We're going to talk about that tonight, follow-ups tonight. Hang on to them. Do not drop people. I said no to my sponsor 6 times over a year. I'm certain now I was on a 2-month follow-up. I joined the business and told her for 6 months that I wasn't going to do the business. Don't ask me to. Okay. So 18 months in that time frame, I said no to her a lot. She never dropped me. She could retire on her business. Ain't our job to decide the timing or if it's a good fit for people. It is our job to take good care of people, to just make sure they feel like they matter and add value. Can be very impatient, hard on ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes our lack of results, guess what it does? It reinforces our doubts, right? So our lack of results can reinforce our doubts. And then we are just on this cycle, which is why the mindset stuff is just so important. If you've got a repetitive thought happening in your mind, and I had a girlfriend who was a nurse who was really struggling with the business, super smart, believed in the products, used them for years, and just said, Alyssa, I don't know why I can't grow this business. And I said, you know what? I want you to grab a pen and a paper. And every time you think about your business at all throughout the entire day, I want you to write down what you were thinking. And because I had mentioned to her, you probably got some negative thoughts hanging around there. And she's like, oh, I don't. Like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, let's just write it down. At the end of the day, I want you to tell me, when you think of your business, what is the first thought? And like the whole thing was, nobody believes in network marketing. I'm not good enough to do this. I don't have the time to do this. It's so much work. It's super hard. And she's like, I wasn't even aware that I was convincing myself all day, every day, that I couldn't do it. Right? We run on programs. Most of us don't know what program we're running on. So if you were able to attend Brian Marsh yesterday, he talked about creating that vision, being really clear on what you want, which is where we're going to go into now. All right, you guys are amazing. Okay, so let's open this first slide and we'll start with here. And the first thing is what do you want? This business is incredibly rewarding. Honestly, there's no other opportunity that I'm aware of, and I'm a traditional business owner, that offers me the ability to determine my hours and to decide my paycheck, right? And to do it in a way that really helps other people. We're really lucky that we get to help other people. So I want you to write down, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to write down, try to make a list of 10 things that you want in your life that your business could bring in. So just grab your pen, paper, just 10 things. Could be monthly income, could be a trip somewhere, could be to retire your spouse, buy your house. Just let them flow. Don't overthink it. Try to get 10. Could be pay off debt, take a course. It's always on my list. Our business rewards us more than anything else, and it gives us the freedom and flexibility to really create a life that we desire. But you have to know why you're doing the work. Otherwise, it's really hard to move forward. I wanted family vacations. Then I wanted to be home and work from home. Then I wanted to, retire my husband. Then I wanted to buy a house that fit our big family. Right now, I'm trying to convince my husband to let me buy a farm so I can have 10 dogs. Working on it, right? These are all things that your business can bring you. Maybe you're thinking about retirement and there's a certain quality of life you want into retirement. I know I do. Amazing. Okay. That's your list. Every day this week, I want you to go through your 10 reasons or 10 things that you want. Make sure I put that down as homework. All right, every day, read it every morning. Okay, let's keep going. So we talk a lot about GoPro, and GoPro is a great book. It really is the Bible of our industry. If you haven't studied it, and if you don't know how to explain each of the 7 skills to yourself or to a friend, I would recommend read it, read it, read it, read it. And I had a coach a couple years ago, a very high earner in our industry, and he said, Alyssa, there is not a problem inside your business that doesn't fall under one of the skills. And if that skill is improved, that problem goes away. Okay, there's not a problem inside our business that doesn't fall under one of these 7 skills. And if that skill is improved, the problem goes away. So whatever roadblock you're dealing with, the only thing he doesn't have on here is mindset, which I think is equally as important as all of these. But, you know, if you have a hard time finding prospects, then you got to go develop that skill, building lists. If you have a hard time inviting people, which we're going to talk about tonight, you got to build that skill. If you have a hard time presenting, you got to build that skill. Following up is a skill. Closing is a skill. Getting people started, we're going to talk about that next week. It's a skill. And promoting events is a skill. We're going to talk about events tonight. So let's talk about skill number 2, which is inviting. And inviting prospects to understand. Okay, understand is so important. Not to buy immediately. Our first goal is to help them understand our product or opportunity. Once you have identified your prospects, we do that in our list building when we're scrolling our social media. The next skill is learning how to properly invite them to find out more about the products or opportunity. And each person is probably going to be maybe a product person, maybe an opportunity person. I find I don't do as well when I try to approach with both. And I find I'm much more confident to lead with products and then talk about the business. But there are people that I'll lead with business and talk about the products. But think about each of your prospects. Try not to lead with both. Lead with one and get really comfortable at that. So inviting is the gateway skill for network marketing. It is, if you want to grow your business, you have to invite people to learn more. And that's what we've been talking about with booking our meetings. And I'm so glad that you guys are 2 weeks into doing this work, because you're going to see a lot of things you're already doing well, and you're going to see some things that you can do to improve it tonight. So our objective is to educate prospects on what we have to offer and let the prospects decide if this is something they wish to do. Remember, we don't get to decide the outcome. The more conversations, the more people we connect with, the more opportunity we're going to have to grow our business. You can invite them to things like 500 families, to a Tuesday night call, to a personal event or a meeting. These are things, but our goal is to educate them. Remember, we're building their understanding. Now, our job really is to think more like a coach or a consultant. What advice or info are you going to share? What tool can you send them to help them? What questions do you need to ask them to understand what problems they need solved, right? We are problem solvers. We have amazing products. We solve the problem of fresh produce. We solve the problem of the cost of eating healthy foods. We solve the problem of a poor quality diet and not enough nutrients. We solve problems. And number 3 is offer common sense solutions to people's problems. Ask what questions before you share, and what questions can you ask? So I want you to think about in your messages where you're getting ghosted, did you engage in conversation and ask questions first, or did you give them information first? Right? So if you led with information, they got the information. They may not need to engage with you because they got the information. And that information might be the right information for them, or it might not be. If it's not the right information, they don't care at all, has nothing to do with you. It just wasn't information that mattered to them. And if it is the right information, they already got it, they don't need to respond, right? So our goal is to ask questions, make sure, one, we're giving them the right information, but by making them feel like they matter and they're being heard, we can then continue to engage in higher level conversations. So let's look at the 8 invitations. I'll get you guys to write these down as quickly as you can. You'll also get the recording in the group tomorrow. Number 1 is one-on-ones. Hey, do you want to get together for coffee? Do you want to book a Zoom? I'd love to book a phone call. I'd like to catch up. We haven't talked in a while. Hey, thank you so much for asking about the business. You know what? We're both local. I would love to sit down face to face and share it with you. Would that be something you would be interested in? Or I'd love to get on the phone and explain it to you by phone. It'd be so much easier than Messenger, right? You're just offering to provide them information, but to do it in a more personal way. I get people all the time that are like, I'm not interested in a phone call at all. I'm like, awesome. Let me just put some information here. Let me know if you have any questions, right? I tried to get the connection. They're not interested. I don't get offended by that. I'm just like, all right. So the next best thing I can do is give you some information here, right? So don't worry about it. I had a girl post on social media just this past weekend, and she is a local business owner, and she posted looking for good skincare for over 40s. So I posted, I use a natural product line from a friend, direct selling as well. So I posted, oh, this is the line I use. I can't believe how awesome it is. Please contact Karen. She'll give you some information. And her response, very public business owner, by the way, was, no thanks, not into pyramid schemes. Right. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, people still post this stuff. So I wrote back underneath, because I could have taken that personally, right? This is what I do for a living. Is she insulting what I'm doing? Right. And she's a business owner. So I'm sure some of her clients are probably, using products from these companies, or maybe even growing their own business. Like, how offensive is that? Right. But instead I was like, you know what? That's her story, not my story. She can feel the way she wants. So I responded and said, not a problem at all. One of the things I will say is it's a pretty regulated industry. So I'm positive it's not a pyramid scheme, but you feel free to support business, women in business in any way that you choose. Hope you find what you are looking for. And I had a whole bunch of people like my comment because I didn't engage. And I was like, I just hope you find what you're looking for, right? But kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a highly regulated. I didn't take it on. I had a girl message me from the post and say that she had reached out to my friend and she was going to learn a little bit more about that skincare. So remember, when these people respond, we have a choice. Did I have to pause? Heck yeah. Because I felt like responding like, listen, as a business owner, you're being really offensive to a lot of people that could be your. All right, three-way Zooms. Hey, you know what? I have a friend, or my leader is so smart and she just knows, or he just knows, or I have a friend who's got a similar story. I think it would be really cool. Could we book a Zoom? I do a lot of prospect Zooms. You know why I do a lot of prospect Zooms? Because somebody has asked their friend or prospect to get on a Zoom with them and a leader. That's it. They've just asked. If they say no, nothing changes. It's the same. They're already not on a three-way Zoom. They're already not using the products or in the business. Nothing changes. If they say yes, something changes, right? I do probably 5 or 6 of these a week. I book them into upcoming weeks because of how many I do. And the only reason these happen is because somebody invited them. Think about, maybe that's your goal, is to get a three-way Zoom booked with a leader. Okay, let's keep going. Three-way call, same idea as three-way Zoom, also works awesome, super easy and convenient. Everybody can be naked, doesn't even matter, right? Trying to wake you guys up a little bit. All right, small group presentations, right? These are amazing. You could do it on Facebook, you could do it in a group, you could do it in an event. I want you to think about, like, if you are running a group, when have you ever gone in and just been like, hey guys, I just got to share this. Like, here's a presentation, here's some slides. I'm running a Facebook party, inviting friends and family, and just doing it, just being brave enough to share in front of some friends and family. If you're not doing number 4, do number 4. Put it on your list between now and next week. Just bite the bullet and do it. I tell you, you're going to feel like $1 million afterwards, and it's going to build your confidence, and chances are you'll probably get a couple of people interested. You can invite them to a webinar, a company event, a three-way group message, and you can review a tool. Three-way group message is where you have a few people that might share their story. Hey, Christina, I just wanted to share, my friend Jody and Cindy, they both have had great results. I was just hoping that they could share a quick voice note about each of their results so that you can hear what's possible, right? Cindy talks, Jody talks, done. Out you go. You continue the conversation privately somewhere else. It doesn't have to continue in that group message. Great way. And number 8, review a tool. We have so many tools. I don't know if you've logged into boards lately. But there is so many tools. I want you to think about how many tools have you sent out in the last 5 days? I I am sending out tools as follow-ups to every single one of my meetings, right? Reinforces, give more information, build more confidence, give them more, right? Keep adding. Tools are so great. Tools can be like a favor. All right, so invite to review a tool. 500 Families is a tool. You can tag them in a post. You could search a topic. There's a lot of topics in there now, and you could tag them in a post. You could tag them in a recording to a webinar, whether one from boards or one from our 500 Families community on a topic, like example, gut health. You can go to 500 Families, type in gut health, grab a webinar, tag them in that webinar. You can also use your Juice Plus and Tower Garden websites. There's incredible resources, like insanely good resources. There's a blog on your customer website. There is information on all of the products. The Tower Garden, you can show them what they can grow. There's curriculums for schools on there. There's amazing resources. You can invite them to a live presentation, whether it's a Tuesday night or maybe our team is hosting one. You can also share recorded testimonials and stories as well. These are really great, and you can tag. We got quite a few of them loaded in 500 Families. We've even built them into one of the guides. You can go tag them in a testimonial that's going to speak to that person. Remember, we're not trying to convince people they need our products. We're trying to show them how our products or business solves a problem for them. So as a professional, you are inviting prospects to review a tool or attend an event. That is our goal, or book a meeting even. Now, the pros use events to grow. If you are not experiencing the success you desire, I want you to look at your calendar. How many events are you attending, promoting, and attending with guests? And this actually counts, guys, because as you're logging into this, you are gaining know-how and knowledge that you can then go apply the rest of this week to your business. I got to where I am by continually attending events. If there's one thing you'll notice about from any company, the top leaders do not miss anything. The top earners don't miss anything. Why is that? It's because they became top earners because they don't miss anything. They understand they got to fuel up that gas tank. They got to add good stuff. So your calendar is a really clear indication of how quickly your business is growing. If you're connecting with 1 or 2 people a day, that's amazing, but it's going to be slow going. If you're connecting with 5 to 10, it's going to be even faster. You've got events happening, it's going to go faster. You've got people getting on Tuesday nights, it's going to go even faster, right? So your calendar is really going to determine your success. So events are important because, one, you're going to learn. You're on an event tonight. I'm positive there's going to be one thing that you walk away with that maybe you didn't have before. Could be just that 10 list of things that you want, right? You're going to learn something. You become inspired. It offers third-party validation to guests at events. You become part of the community and the culture. And by the way, I love our Juice Plus community and culture. I've always said we're kind of like the hippies of the direct sales industry. And I love that. I love that we are all about helping families get more plants in their body. I don't know that there's a more important job in our world right now than helping putting plants in people's bodies. It builds your confidence in growing your business. When I notice when people's businesses will slide backwards, they disappear. They don't attend regularly. They're missing things. The moment they disconnect, their business goes backwards. The moment they connect in, their business goes forwards. That's how powerful events are to your business. Events are the most important fuel for you. And when you use those well with your team and your customers and your prospects, your business just accelerates at a much faster rate. So think about how many guests do you have on events and what are you missing? What are you plugging into? You will add more customers, your team will grow, and you will dream bigger, because that's the cool thing about our industry is once you hit a target, you get to choose a new one. This isn't a salary job. You're not going to get there and be like, oh, I've arrived, like now we're just going to coast. It's like you get to build new goals. You get to build new dreams. You get to help other people reach their goals and build their dreams, which, by the way, is significantly more rewarding than our own, believe it or not. All right, let's talk about how to use events. If you are having conversations with others about our products, you can share how you have been learning so much and invite them to join a live class. You know, some of the people that really get good guest turnouts is not because they're trying to convince people to attend, it's because they are sharing the things that they have learned, and people kind of have FOMO. They want to attend. They don't want to miss out. This is amazing. I can't believe that I learned this. You attend a Tuesday night, do a post Wednesday morning about what you learned from Tuesday night. That recording is in 500 families. You can spend the rest of the week getting that recording in front of people. And you can do that by sharing the value that you got from it and helping them get some value as well. You can share what you are creating for your family with your business and invite them to hear a success story they may relate to. You can grow a team that is doing both steps 1 and step 2. And that is duplication, my friend. Your first job is to grow your front line. Your second job is to help them grow their front line, right? We talked about that last week and why that pays more. And if you're doing the things, you're going to duplicate that. Oh, I love that you're liking this. And your commitment to having people join you for events will be reflected in your earnings every month. Events are king. I'm going to tell you, we're inviting, a meeting is an event. A Facebook party is an event. An online presentation is an event. A Tuesday night is an event. These are all events. All right, let's talk about the 4 rules when we're inviting and we're using events. Number 1, emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. Remember, you are not in charge of other people's decisions. It is so hard, especially if your mindset is not where it needs to be quite yet. And listen, I'm working on my mindset every single day, every day. I don't start my day until I do my mindset work, because my stuff will come up and I'll start using outside stuff as validation for my stuff. Right? So we have to just be like, listen, if you choose not to join my business didn't change. You're already not involved. I'm going to continue to grow it anyways. If you say no, I'm still going to do it. You're not changing my decision. You're not changing my results or my outcomes, but I would love to do it with you. It's up to you. Right? Emotionally detach yourself. Be yourself. It is so important. I am never going to be one of those network marketing ladies in high heels and a tight dress. Ain't happening. I've been on maid stages with ripped jeans and Doc Martens. It's who I am. And I have attracted a tribe of people who are like me. And I'm cool with that because I want to hang out with cool people like me. Right? So I want you to think about that. We don't get to have to be anyone else. We don't got to present anything else. Just be yourself. Just share your story. Share your product love. You know, we've all purchased something because of someone else's product love. We've joined a business because of someone else's love for this business. That's all we have to do. We just got to be consistent at it. Be passionate. People like a little bit of enthusiasm. They like a little bit of excitement. They like a little bit of it matters. Try to convince me that eating plants doesn't matter. Ain't gonna happen. I'm too passionate about it. Try to convince me that growing your own food isn't important right now. Ain't gonna happen. I'm too passionate about it. Find parts of your business that you are so passionate about is contagious, right? It's just contagious. It doesn't matter. Nobody can convince you otherwise. Like, people need plants, and you know what? They're not eating enough. So they need to take them in supplements, not man-made vitamins. And it was interesting. I was doing some studies this week to write an article for a fitness magazine, and they want me to write on the difference between vitamins and whole foods and why I recommend whole foods, which is awesome. And when I was doing my research, I just, something I knew but forgot, and it was like, oh, it's such a huge realization. Do you realize that man-made vitamins, anything with milligrams I use, actually 100% chemical? 100% chemical. They use these chemicals to mimic what vitamins and minerals actually do in the body. Right? Like, this is crazy. And why would we want people to put chemicals in their body when they could put food, right? Have strong posture. So even if someone is like, I don't get that girl, yeah, no thanks, not interested in pyramid schemes. All right, so the highly regulated environment around, right? That's okay. You know what? You can think that. You eat my folk, you eat my people. I don't want you in my team. I don't want you in my culture, right? And I was promoting someone else's business, but whoa, red flag. Have strong posture. Like, when somebody shows you that they're not meant for this, believe them until they decide to change. Believe them, right? Be confident in what you're doing. We are doing good work. All right, let's look at this. Fortune is in the follow-up. We're almost done, guys. So 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Almost half of your team is not following up with their prospects. 25% will make a second contact. Only 12% will make 3 contacts and stop. And 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts, okay? 2% of your sales happen in the first contact. 2 out of 100, by the way. 3% are made on the second contact. So 3 out of 100 sales that you can get are made in that second contact. 5% are made on the third, 10% are made on the fourth, and 80% of your sales is going to come between the 5th and the 12th contact. That's why we want to continually find a way to engage people, to add value, to ask questions, to take an interest, to build the relationship, even if it's not around our business. This is like real sales statistics, FYI, right? Doesn't that keep you going? All right, let's talk about following up. It takes an average of 4 to 6 exposures for the average person to join in our company. The goal is education and understanding. The goal is to build and strengthen relationships. We want to help them with their understanding, and we want to strengthen the relationship. The sale, the partner in your team comes after that. You can use the tools that we talked about, and the more connections you create in a day, the faster your business will grow. If you're doing 1 connection a day, it's going to feel like it's slow going. But if you do 10 and if you do 20, and Teamzy is such a great tool for that. I love it. I love it, Anita. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, questions and objections. So when people don't get it, they're not ready for it, it's not their thing yet. Really important to avoid feeling or responding from a place of feeling defensive. All right, now I'm a fight or flight girl, and I am all fight. Like, I am not a runaway kind of gal. I grew up with boys, okay? And I've had to learn this. I've really had to learn to be like, okay, am I buying their stuff? Am I tuning into that, or am I going to choose something different? Okay, acknowledge their questions and search for answers to support their understanding. Try not to prove them wrong. Anita, it's going to take, so how much time would it take between follow-ups? It's really going to depend on each conversation. If something has gone quiet, I would be looking at those quiet messages and see if you can go back and add a tool or do an invite or just acknowledge or bring it back up. But it's really going to depend on each person. Like I said, I think my sponsor put me in her calendar every 60 days. Like, you might do that. When I do build people into my agenda, so I work out of a paper agenda just for prospecting and my daily appointments and that sort of thing. And when I connect with people, I track all of it in my agenda. And then that way, as I move forward into upcoming weeks, I can actually flip behind a few weeks and see the connections that I made, maybe what I sent, go and check out that message. And it's going to depend person by person. Our goal is understanding and education. We are positioning people to make great choices. And most objections are either the result of your prospect's limiting belief in themselves, or a lack of understanding of how the network marketing industry can help them change their lives. So that girl who was like, no thanks, I don't want to be in a pyramid scheme, that could be a lack of belief in herself to actually be successful in something like this, or she really doesn't understand our industry. Direct selling is a method of shipping. That's all it is. Network marketing business model has been used by real estate, insurance. I'm sure she's bought a house. I'm sure she's used insurance. Same model, right? It's just a lack of understanding. So there's 2 big common limiting beliefs that are going to come up in your business when you are talking to people. Number 1, I don't have time. And number 2, I don't have money. And these are really the 2 biggest common objections that will come up often. There's going to be a whole bunch of them, but they usually fall into these 2 categories. So for the no money objection, here's a couple tips to kind of help you with that. So you could talk to them about, so I don't lead a lot with the business unless it's somebody I actually want to lead with the business. More often than not, I lead with the products. When I'm at that point of sale, I offer the partner account. I say, do you want 10% back on your products? You can manage your own orders. If your friends and family are interested in buying, then you could, share it with them. Okay. So I sell them the products. It's called Retail to Recruit. I sell them the products. I offer them a partner account. Some people I don't. If it's a client that's actively in a program, I don't offer them a partner account, but I retail to recruit. Would you be interested? If there is a challenge, people are interested in the products, but they're really hard up around the money, or, they really are interested, but budget wise, I'm like, hey, listen, it's $52 investment, but you actually get to save 10% minimum on your products. We can increase that discount all the way to 25%. We've also got some great bonuses, and a couple customers a month can completely offset your own personal costs. Is that something you would be interested in? Yes or no? Right? There is never any monthly obligations. You know what? When you have that account, you actually don't even have to buy or sell, but say it's a tough month, you can actually get a couple customers, and that's going to help you offset. Or maybe you add a part-time income because, if money is really tight, where, the cost of your family's health products are really, stretching the budget, then maybe we really should have a conversation around the opportunity to earn more income. What if you could use this business to actually change your money story? And you could talk to them about what you're earning or where you're going or why you're doing it. I will tell you, my most successful time recruiting was not when I was successful. It was when I was on my way, because people wanted to get on that bus. And we all want to connect and follow someone who's dreaming big and setting goals and going somewhere, because it's contagious. We want to. So you could talk to them about that. Now, time objection is common. So, what I often will say, like if they're like, I don't have enough time, I'll share a little bit about my story. I didn't have time. I had 30 minutes a day when I first started building this business. It was like I jam-packed everything I could into those 30 minutes. So you can say, like, what if you could use your flex time to generate a part-time or full-time income? What if you could use Netflix time, or you could use sleeping in time, or whatever it is? But I label it flex time. What if you could use your flex time to actually generate a part-time, full-time income? Maybe it's only a few hours a week, but what if you could generate an income in those hours? Part-time jobs usually take between 2 to 4 hours a day, and that's like 5 days a week, which makes a time commitment 10 to 20 hours a week, right? For a part-time job. If you had to get a part-time job to make more money, you're probably looking at 10 to 20 hours a week. A full-time job, if you had to, leave, maybe you're home and you had to go out and work full-time, or you needed a full-time income, that's 5 to 6, 8 hours more a day, which is 20 to 30 or 40 hours plus a week. Having these conversations with people around time is important. And you can say, like, if you needed to improve finances, or if you just don't have enough time, this is what people invest. Both part-time and full-time offer consistent income. You can say, like, what would feel best for you right now? There's so much opportunity for the average family to add a part-time income on their terms. They don't got to drive anywhere. They don't got to spend their time commuting. They don't got to pay for gas. They don't got to pay for clothes. They're not away from their family for hours on end trying to bring in an additional income. They can do it with a home-based franchise. It's pretty cool, right? Get confident talking about that. I went from a part-time mindset to a full-time mindset. I was like, I'd love to bring in part-time income. And then I want a full-time income, right? So you'll find that will also happen in your business. All right, we're just about done here. So use your prospect list. We've been talking about it the week 3, no overhead. Yes, Annette, you got it. Connect with 1 to 5 people every single day. Make it an every single day thing. I'm on a mission to make sure I have at least 1 meeting a day. My goal is 7 meetings a week. It's definitely taken some focus, and it took the first couple of weeks. It felt like I was just spinning my wheels, but now I've got meetings booked every single day, right? Invite to events. Keep a list of who you've connected with, who you need to follow up with. Remember those sales statistics. Do your follow-ups every day, open three-way messages with your upline validation, and share at least 1 tool a day. Probably some improvements that you could make in already having a successful month in this program. There's probably a next level. Remember, how can we improve what we're doing? So this is the 3-step system. I'm going to go through it really quickly. We're going to start bringing this back more so into the fall. We've got some amazing tools, but we've been teaching this for years. And basically, you get started with your business. You share your personal journey, which is step 1, which is share. Step 2 is invite. And step 3 is connect. Number 1 is share is we're just sharing our personal journey. We might be having conversations with people, letting them know what's available, answering their questions, helping them solve problems with our products or business. That is the share stage. Invite is invite them to 500 families, invite them to review a tool, invite them to a 3-way connection, invite them to a one-on-one meeting. And then step 3 is connect. And connect is where you are putting them in touch with something that actually solves their problem. So let me give you an example of this and wrap this up. You've shared a post, a friend is interested. All right, you're like, hey, thank you so much for your interest, Susan. Can I add you to this really great community? We do weekly healthy living classes. It's awesome. It's called 500 Families. I know you're going to love it. Susan's like, heck yeah, put me in there. Like, amazing, Susan. Okay, I just added you. Is there any goals that you're working on right now? We've got a lot of really cool tools in here, and I could tag you in something that's going to help you get started. So, are you working on any health goals right now? Susan's like, you know what? I am like trying to work on my immune system. I'm constantly catching colds. But you're like, amazing. I'm going to go tag you to a few posts so that you can learn about that. Done. 1, 2, 3. Your goal is to do 1, 2, 3 often and having that connection. Now, another example, you've shared, maybe you sent a message. You're like, hey, my friend, I was thinking about you. I don't know if what I do would be of interest to you, but I was wondering if you would be open to just getting coffee. We can catch up. You can tell me about what's happening in your life. I'd love to share a little bit of information with you. And, at the very least, we're just going to have a nice coffee. We get together. I share my story. I ask her what's important in her life. We're connecting. I am able to then go home and send her tools or things that are going to support our conversation. Most of the tools I send are after a connection. I'm backing up that connection. If you've ever done a 3-way call with me or 3-way Zoom, I always will, on that call with you and your prospect, give you a list of things to send them. And I do that on purpose. So I want to thank you guys for the week 3. Can you believe that? Lots of good information. So I want you to really think about your 10 reasons, the 10 reasons you're here. Okay. And then how can you make improvements in what you're doing? You're all doing amazing. Now, just before we go, I do have some names on a wheel. And this is based on the really cool thing about FaceGrips groups is they actually tell you who's participating the most. So I didn't even have to. So this week, and we have another $25 Amazon gift card going out. So this week, the top performers commenting, posting, participating, and there was quite a few. I actually had a few of you on here that showed up a couple times, but these guys, Patricia again. Now you have to be present to win. So let me just make sure. There's Robin, there's Crystal, there's Patricia. I've been seeing Heather the entire time. And then Anita, where's Anita? There's Anita, there she is. All right, we're good to go. All right, so $25 Amazon gift card, and we're gonna click and spin. And the winner is Miss Crystal. So congratulations, Crystal. I will get your email information and get that sent off to you tomorrow. You can buy yourself a fun book. That's what I would buy. Anyways, I hope you guys have, congratulations. I hope you guys have a great week. Next week is the last week. We're going to talk about what to do with your new people. All right. So as you keep doing this work, eventually all these people are going to start showing up, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do with them. So we're going to talk about new customers, new team, and really creating a system inside your business. So thank you guys for your time. I'll stop the recording and we will see you next week.